What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Enter the Matrix. Last time we completed the fairly lengthy nuclear power plant level, which was, as I've mentioned before, one of my two favorite levels of this game, and it's about as fun as I remember it being. Basically, the objective of the level was to blow up a nuclear power plant. What the objective of that was, I actually don't remember. Although, I believe it has something to do with the machines that are digging towards Zion, that underground city. I believe that had something to do with it, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. But after that, we got tasked to meet with the Oracle. If, again, you've seen the movies, you should know who the Oracle is, and you should also know what we have to go through before we actually get to meet the Oracle. And this first level is actually what that sort of, I guess, test, if you will, to see if we are allowed to meet the Oracle or not, which actually, I don't even understand exactly. Like, I realize, because he even mentioned that you don't truly know someone until you fight them. So I understand it's sort of like basically a test. You know how sometimes you, like, in shows or movies, you have those sort of, like, I don't know, so these tests to sort of test to see if you are a good person, like if your heart is filled with evil or not, sort of, you know, if you're an evil person, you're not gonna you won't be allowed to do something, but if you're good, then you'll be able to either pass through or, you know, acquire something. It's kind of like that, where he fights you to test whether or not you have evil intentions or not, but I still don't really understand what the point of that is. You know, what difference really will it make? I mean, if the person, if an evil person truly wants to have, you know, to meet the Oracle to either kill her or, I don't know, do something else to her, does a simple sparring match against Seraph really gonna change any of that? You know, is him finding out that the person he's fighting actually has bad intentions, and he's, you know, will him really trying to stop them really stop them from meeting the Oracle? You know, if the person really wants to meet them to do something bad, he's just gonna kick his ass and do it anyway, right? So, I really don't see the point of this, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna go through it exactly like everyone else went through it, and also like Ballard went through in the cutscene in that one cutscene earlier in the game. So, let's go fight him, shall we? This is in Chinatown, and of course the level is called Seraph's Tea House, and this is actually probably the shortest level of the entire game. I mean, even the Trinity fight, which was kind of short, wasn't really that short, because okay, I guess maybe it's about the same. I don't remember exactly how tough Seraph is as an opponent. I know Trinity is fairly tough, which is kind of a little bit extends the length of the level, because it does take a little bit of time to actually bring her health down to a certain point, which it's still you do have to bring her health down to a certain point. The fight doesn't end when you bring it down to, you know, to a certain point, but it does. Basically, like, you can't bring her health down, and as you saw in that one level, as I was fighting her, she just kept blocking all my attacks. And I'm fairly certain that it's scripted that way. Once you get her health down to a certain point, then she starts blocking all your attacks and you can't really do anything. As opposed to this fight, which automatically ends when you bring his health down to I think about a quarter way. Or more, his health down to, yeah, I guess a quarter. So, there's a little bit of a difference between the two fights, but I guess sort of they're almost the same length, but I still feel like this level is shorter than the Trinity fight and therefore probably the shortest level of the game so far. And really, we're pretty much done with all the long levels. The rest of the game, which we only have... We have this level, we got another basically sort of single kind of kind of like this by itself, just one little area which is considered its own level. We have about 4 levels left in the game. Except we have this one, we have the next one which is by itself, then we have 2 other levels left, which, well, the last level is only 2 sort of sections, and then about 3 or 4 sections in the second to last level, the penultimate level. So we're almost done, at least with Ghost side of the game. We will be going back to, or I will be going back and replaying this as Niobe, of course, because with the exception of really, I think the only exception is, well, no. With the exception of the driving levels, which is slightly different, since with Niobe you actually drive as opposed to being just, you know, the gunner. But with the exception of the driving levels, the post office, although the post office does have a slight difference, there is sort of like one little area that Niobe goes through that Ghost doesn't go through. With the exception of that, the driving levels, and really the only level, get to the hardline level where you on the city rooftops after driving, when you're running to the payphone to escape the Matrix. That one is probably the only level that is 100% exact, 100% identical in both cases. So it's like I said, the post office, while 99% identical, there's one slight little difference. There's an area that Niobe goes through that Ghost doesn't go through. That's kind of like where the level branches off a little bit, but it's still the same. But the get to the hardline level is basically 100% identical in either case. But that's the only level. Every other level is basically different. Whether completely different because Niobe goes off in a different direction than Ghost does, or slightly different, you know, with a little bit of variation, but still identical. Either way, it's still different, at least a little bit. But in any case, that's enough rambling. Usually I'll ramble at the end of the level, but here I am rambling at the beginning of the level, but I guess that saves time at the end. Anyway, let's stop talking and just get to fighting, shall we? Remember what I said? Focus in fights is definitely I gotta say. Oh, come on, I blocked that. Okay, that's...
I am sorry, but the Oracle was mistaken. You cannot help us.
Screw you.
Back so soon?
I must have done something wrong. I don't get it.
Probably just as well. We've got major Sentinel activity at the moment. Maybe he knew.
I don't know. I can't shake the feeling that I missed something important.
Who cares? Look at that. We gotta move.
Online.
Maximum vector takeoff. Hold on. Tight.
Huh. Interesting. I've never actually experienced this. I've actually never lost that fight before. So I did not realize that this is one of those instances where the game progresses in a different way depending on how you do. I always thought that there's actually supposed to be 2 other levels before, because right now this is actually the very end of the game. This level right here, the next level coming up right now, is actually the finale of the game. You have 2 levels where you're basically, well, in the case of Ghost, you're still shooting, so you're actually going to be shooting the guns of the ship, fighting off these sentinels while trying to escape them. And basically there's 2 parts of that level. So once you escape the sentinels, once you complete those 2 levels, that's basically the end of the game. But there's actually supposed to be 2 other 2 levels between fighting Seraph and between escaping the sentinels, which apparently you do not get if you fail that fight. That's actually quite interesting. I did not expect that. I thought if you died, you would just lose and have to start over. I did not know that this was actually that you completely can skip those 2 levels by not, by failing the fight. But of course that's not going to happen. I am actually going to go back and beat him because, well, I gotta show off those two levels, because they're actually, I mean, they're part of the game. So why would I skip showing them off, right?
Again, I apologize, but these are difficult times, and it falls upon me to measure our heart's resolve. Come.
So there you have it. That was the Seraph fight. Let me tell you, that fight is a bloody killer on your hand, because I was actually wrong about this fight. This is a lot more difficult than I actually thought it was going to be. I thought, I don't know what I was doing all those years ago, but it felt a lot easier before than this fight actually is, because let me tell you, the fact that he blocks all your moves, whether you're trying to actually punch him, or, you know, trying to actually hit him or just throw him. He basically blocks all your moves, so you basically have to use focus in this fight, otherwise you almost certainly will not land a hit. And the fact that you need to bring his health down to a quarter while he's blocking you is just repeatedly pressing the mouse button to fight is it's just ridiculous. But I finally managed to beat him, and that means I can show you those last two, well, not the last two, but I can show you those two levels that are in between this fight and the finale. So, for now, enjoy this meeting with the Oracle, and, well, see what happens next.
You must be Ghost.
Who are you?
I am the Oracle.
If that's true, then what's my response to that postulate?
Truth is an event, and only through experience can the veracity of a truth be verified.
William James.
You're asking me to prove it?
Can you?
I can tell you that I only remember bits and pieces of my past. I don't remember your face, but I remember your heart. You asked me one question, if she would ever love you. I told you only as a friend, as her brother. Yes, I remember that smile. I recall asking what you were thinking, but I can't remember what you said.
I thanked you.
Why?
Because I felt freed.
From what?
Expectation. Can you tell me what happened to you?
2 programs that I trusted sold the termination code of my original shell to the Merovingian.
Why did they do that?
For love. For the life of their child.
You knew about it, and yet you let it happen.
I had to.
Why?
Because the child is important. I can't tell you why, but I believe that one day the child will change both our world and your world forever.
Is that why you called for me?
No, I am trying to prepare those that stand in the front lines of our coming trial. We stand upon the edge of a precipice, the fall from which we will not return. Each of us must find courage when we are most afraid to do what we must. That is our only hope.
We must go.
Thank you.
Ghost, you still love her, don't you?
As much as she loves another.
That is a hard path to walk.
Nietzsche said it best. One must want nothing to be different. Not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not only bear what is necessary, but to love it.
Amour fati. You're a good man, Ghost. If somehow we do survive, if the path does continue, I hope it is made by others like you.
I wish you luck and courage.
Same to you.
Damn, not who I was hoping for. But perhaps you can help me find him.
You're an agent.
Oh, no, not anymore.
And what are you?
Me? I suppose you could say I'm the Alpha of your Omega. I am the beginning of your end.
Yes, it is Agent Smith, the big bad boss of the Matrix. And by boss, I of course mean one of the central villains, I suppose. I mean, I know the Sentinels are a big enemy. As far as I can tell, you're in a half-built skyscraper. You need to get moving. I'm reading agents closing in on your position. Yes, well, that's actually going to be later. As I was saying, I know that the Sentinels are probably the primary antagonists of the film series because, well, I mean, pretty much both The Matrix Revolutions and The Matrix Reloaded, they're fighting off an invasion of the machines, but back in the real world. Smith is basically the primary antagonist of the, you know, the virtual world of the Matrix itself. And, well, you should know that, I don't remember exactly what happened and how he acquired this power, but he's basically able to, and you kind of saw a glimpse of that back in one of the earlier cutscenes when Bane encountered Smith and he, like, stabbed him through the chest and started to, you don't really see the full transformation, but you kind of see, like, some like molten metal kind of substance or whatever begin to engulf Bane. Well, that's basically him transforming Bane, or that's basically Smith transforming Bane into another version of himself. And that's how he's able to create clones. He basically transforms people into clones of himself. And there was this huge battle in The Matrix Reloaded between Neo and all those clones after Neo meets with the Oracle, which was actually a pretty awesome fight scene. And yeah, so these next two levels are actually all about escaping Smith and getting back to the real world, which then of course leads, as you saw in that one cutscene, that leads to the Sentinels tracking our ship and us having to escape from them. But for now, I shall catch you all next time when we escape Agent Smith, which is actually going to be another fairly short level, because it's basically just getting to a certain area, and then it's going to be going on to the next level where we're still escaping Smith, but it's got sort of, since it's a different area, it's considered a different level. Not entirely sure why they couldn't basically call this one thing, but I guess they wanted to, I don't know. Since each area is, since the levels are basically divided into areas that you visit, you know, the first level was the post office, then it was the city driving, the city rooftops, the airport, the sewers, the chateau, the city underground when you're escaping from the twins, then the freeway, then the nuclear power plant, and the last level was well, then in Ghost case also the Zen Garden, but then the last level also in Chinatown. Actually, the next level is technically also in Chinatown. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But since this level takes place in another area separate from the next level, it's considered its own level. Why? I don't know. It just is. So, because of that, I shall catch you all in the next part when we escape, when we run away from Smith and try to escape. So, see you guys soon.